So in this video, I'll be showing you how to use the CoACD algorithm, which is part of the tool, with various different meshes. First, I'll just show you all the UI stuff, all the operators, and then I'll show a bunch of examples with examples like buildings, spaceships, characters, everything you might ever need to generate collision for, I'll show you. But let's start from the basics, which is just how do you even use this tool. So it's pretty simple. You do Shift Q and you can assign a preset. So first we have to select our preset. By default, it is single convex, but if we want to change it to minimal quality, we do Shift Q and we basically release to select the preset we want. And that's pretty much it. You can make your own presets if you want. You can read the paper for CoACD to figure out what these do. But you rarely need to touch these. I've gone through the painstaking process of figuring out what they do and what is the best settings for each preset. So you will never need anything other than these. So once you have your preset, you can just click Generate Collision, and it will make it immediately based on your preset. The highest quality, of course, takes longer, but the single convex is instant. So let's start with a workflow that I recommend to use, which is splitting the mesh. So sometimes you can get away with using only the single convex if you use the split by plane operator, which allows you to draw lines in 3D space, like this. Now if we select all of them and we generate, we get something that's closer to the actual shape. And we can go as far as we want with this, keep cutting the mesh until we reach a satisfactory result. Maybe the nose should be separated as well. Now, why am I showing you this instead of the generator? The reason is that this tool is meant to aid you in creating colliders. There is no such tool that can replace it completely. But if you use it the way I'm going to show you, you will get the best out of your buck for this tool. So this is a good split, I'd say. So if we now generate collisions, we'll get something like this. So if we select the colliders, now we have to do this, select everything, and then select the colliders, we get something like this. And, this might be good enough. But we can notice that it's not symmetrical. So in this case, we can select this and do mirror. So if we enable the visualizer, we can see which side will be mirrored. So the source will be the right side in this case. You can change it, change the axis, change the side, whatever makes sense in your case. But I like this right here more than the other one. So let's mirror this, and it will make another one. And now we can remove this, and we can reparent it to this other. So it's part of this. So this would be valid. Another thing you can do is you can move the vertices like that. And now we have to holify it. So this might be a invalid shape. So this will ensure that the shape is a valid convex shape. And again, we will mirror it. And we get something like this. Very nice. And that's the manual. That's all the manual stuff you will ever need to do. It's a pretty basic workflow. Or there is one more thing. Sometimes you'll have a situation like this, where the mesh is split for no good reason. We don't need to split it here. So you can just select both of them and do combine. And the reason why you can't just do Ctrl J is because of the naming. The naming can get screwed up And Unreal expects a very specific naming scheme with the UCX and the number at the end. So this will just ensure that the naming will stay valid for Unreal. For Unity, you don't have to worry about it, because Unity, you would import each object separately. Let's see, am I forgetting anything? No, I think that's pretty much it for the manual stuff. So now we can actually go into the add-on, the CoACD part of it. So when we do this, let's start with a fresh mesh. So I'm gonna just do a new blend. Let's close these windows. We don't need these. Let's open up the panel and let's go see. So the tool does something nice. The algorithm figures out the best way to split the mesh internally, and it will do it in a few seconds. The high quality preset can take up to a minute, but this is 9 seconds. So you might notice that this is already a lot faster than we did before, and it looks a lot better as well. But again, you still might have to combine meshes if you have something that's unnecessary. But in this case, we actually do want this to be split because of the brow ridge. So this is perfect. The only other thing you might have to do is use the decimate modifier or the operator, because the density is quite high. If we go to, let's see, where is it? Statistics. So if we go to statistics, we can see that it's around 2.5K triangles, and that's a bit too much. So you should go as low as you can. Well, as low as you can. That's pretty much it. And this is pretty good. For simple meshes like Suzanne, this is fine. And if we go to the higher presets, I'll actually show you another thing. So another thing is that this add-on uses parallel processing. So if you have a lot of Suzannes, you can test the presets in parallel if you don't know which one is good. So let's just do this, give each of these a unique quality, and then we can just generate them all at once, which is a very useful tool to have. It's also more optimized. So let's say you have a very complicated mesh. You're better off splitting the mesh and putting minimal quality on all the pieces instead of doing one high quality generation. It's just faster. So utilize this workflow, splitting instead of using a higher preset. But as we get to the higher quality meshes, we do see more pieces as well. So be careful. Because if you have too many pieces, then you'd lose the benefits of convex collision. If you compare it to concave colliders, they're infinitely thin. So it's a lot easier to penetrate concave hulls compared to these convex hulls. But they're not free, so you have to use as few as you can. And for basic usage, this would be enough. Like you wouldn't need anything else. But let's go to the advanced examples, because I know that a lot of people will have very specific use cases. So this is the second part of the guide where we show all the different kinds of objects you will ever encounter, from characters to buildings, spaceships, vehicles. And I'll show you the workflow basically. So let's start with the soldier. So I'll delete all the colliders for now. So I'm going to start from a clean slate. So some pre-processing is recommended. Like I've split the body into these segments. The thumb, the wrist, forearm, upper arm, lower arm, and the torso is split into a few segments. Now, if you don't do this, you'll lose all control over over the mesh. I'll show you it just out of just to make the point across. So as you may see, we do get some kind of collider, and some parts are usable, like the right leg. The left leg is not usable. So you have two options here. The easier solution is just to fix the side you like and mirror it. So you could use the split tool. I recommend having the wireframe mode on so you can actually see what you're cutting. So the elbow is here, so we know where to cut. And here the cut is a bit too wrong, so we'll have to do something like this. And then we'll combine these. And we probably want the thumb to be its own. So we have to cut the thumb like that. And then we'll just move the vertices as much as we can to make a shape that kind of looks like a thumb. It's a mess, but this is why I don't recommend using the high quality first, because you have to do this yourself. But that's good enough. I might want to scale this down as well. The wrist is way too thick and it's way too low. And then we holify again to fix any convex. This is inside out, so we have to do recalculate. If we get an invalid. It doesn't flip on its own, you have to do the flip normals. And I think the arm looks good, the leg is good. The torso is fine. The head can be combined. But or maybe it can't be, because we have a lot of space here. We want to get as close to the original shape as possible. So this is what I mean by you can't 100% use this just as it is, because you will get these edge cases. But other than that, everything seems to look fine. So just select the colliders you like and do the mirror. So let's just check we're using the right side. Yes, so this is the correct side. And there we go. So now we have the same colliders on both sides, but if we disable this, we do have these midsections that need to be combined. Like so. There's no reason for these to be separate. And there's some slivers down here, so you can just delete them if you see like pieces you will never need. There we go. I think the upper and lower, the back and the front can be combined. I think this is part of the body as well. Let's combine it into a single piece like that. Looks good. And that's pretty much it. Would it be faster to do this with the other method? I'll show you. So let's delete this mesh. And what I usually do is I copy the mesh and I like call it collider. And I hide this. And actually it's easier if we move them in the same place. Because now we can do this. We can split the model where the joints are. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You'll have stuff like this, but that's rarely a problem, as you'll see. You just need a rough estimate of where the limbs should be. Same with the legs. There should be a cut here for the feet. And maybe the torso, it's good to split it around here and just below the armpits. So you get 3 pieces. The upper body, the lower body, and the mid body. And that's usually enough. So now if we select something like minimal, or I forgot. So the thumbs is another thing you should split. Like that. And now everything looks good. So now we'll just select the minimal quality. Or let's start with the single convex. I think that will be faster. So we can see that some of them are not good. And when that happens, you just select the ones that are looking horrible, which is almost all of them in this case. And you just go 1 quality level higher. Then you do it again. And this iterative workflow of increasing the quality, splitting and increasing, it should scale up to any mesh. It's just, you'll see the antithesis of this workflow with the building one. I had multiple layers of building, so I don't recommend using it for building stuff, because it might be easier in that case to do it by hand, you know, just make some boxes and block it out that way. But, you know, just a proof of concept, you can do it that way. It might be faster depending on your workflow, but I'll show it. I think we can combine these parts. Yeah, this can be combined into one. The foot doesn't need to be 6 pieces, that's a bit overkill. And this can be combined as well. Same thing with this. Do you need 6 pieces here? I don't think so. Oh, I think this part is... I think I just selected something incorrect there. That's good enough. The head is still a bit wrong. So in this case, I will probably just use low quality. And you can cancel it. I did a mistake there. Shift ESC or just ESC. And you can do assign preset and generate. I think this part can be combined with this. We're doing only one side because we'll mirror it. And I think we can combine this with this. Same with this thing. You can basically do this all you want. It depends on the quality you need, but I'm aiming to go for the highest quality possible here. So that's why I'm doing this. You don't necessarily have to go that far. We might actually want to split the head and the upper body if this doesn't work. When it takes a long time, that's usually a sign that it's struggling to find the right solution. And it should turn yellow. If it turns yellow, you know that maybe it should be split. But I'll let it go. It shouldn't take too long. Maybe maximum of 2 minutes. But if it takes longer than 2 minutes, you should cancel it. And I think it's done. So it did get us something, but you can see that the quality is a bit, I don't like it. So let's do the split method. So let's delete these. And let's see if the mesh, sometimes it's easier to just separate it by selection, because the cut can only do like straight. Yeah, I think this mesh particular can only be split like so. But now if we do the same thing, which was low quality, or let's go back to minimal, because we have two. You should see that it's a lot faster. Well, it's a lot faster because of the preset as well, but it should be faster even if you used low. Around 15 to 30 seconds is around a good time for this kind of thing. It also, of course, depends on your computer specs. Okay, so this, we're getting somewhere, but we still need to combine a bunch of stuff. Like this doesn't need to be a separate thing. The neck can be its own mesh. There's some kind of slice. I don't think there are any other pieces here. We can look at there are 4 pieces. So there is something inside. So we can just delete this. And this looks good. So let's hide this for now with shift left click. And let's combine the upper torso. So let's do combine. And that's pretty good. I'd say this could be rigged to be nice. So now what? Well, we need to make it symmetrical. So let's select this and we do mirror. And you may notice that it only mirrors the selected mesh. So you have to actually select all of these. And then if you do mirror, it's gonna do all of them. So it's just a small thing you should. And if you get like duplicates over here, like we can see that the old meshes are still there. In that case, you should delete the vertices here, or the colliders. And then do the mirror. And there we go. If the mesh is symmetrical, the mirror will be symmetrical as well. Let's do the same for the legs. I think this pouch should be combined. Let's delete this. Less is more always when it comes to collision. There's nothing there. And let's mirror this. And that's pretty much it for a usable collision mesh. You could probably decimate it, but I'm not going to do it this time. So once you're at this step, you actually don't care about the parent objects anymore. So you basically just select all of these, then you do select colliders, then you do invert your selection, and you do X. So you only get your colliders now. So after you're done deleting the old mesh parts we don't need anymore, you can just select all of these colliders and we parent it to our original mesh. And now if we do Holify Children, it's gonna fix the naming scheme. So this will work with Unreal. And that's pretty much it. With this workflow, you'll get the best quality collision meshes using the CoACD algorithm. The other examples are basically just this, but on different models. So you can keep watching or you don't have to watch, but I'll show them anyways. So now I'll show you how to do a lot of props really fast. So this workflow doesn't require any manual stuff. It's basically just set the right preset and forget about it. So I start by setting everything to minimal quality. And I accidentally started it at the wrong one. But it's single convex, so it's instant. But if it was the slower one, I would have had to do ESC or Shift ESC in this case. We can see that a lot of these objects, the single convex collision preset is not enough. So I knew that already, but I accidentally set the wrong preset there. So let's visualize this. So everything is minimal quality now. And let's try that again. Okay, so that's it. Depending on your quality requirements for your project, this might be good enough. But if you want to get better quality, like let's find something that's really bad. Like this chair, for example, if we change the wireframe mode, we can see that it's not really good. So for this one, we will increase the quality to low and we'll generate this one. And while this is generating, we can keep inspecting the quality. This is why this workflow is way more powerful. You're not wasting time and just waiting around. So let's add this to the queue as well. This sofa looks a bit suspicious. And what is happening here? I think this could be, no, this is fine. That is, but I think the sink was something that was looking a bit sus. Yeah, that sink needs to be, I think, medium quality. Same with the toilet, might be high quality. There's so much stuff going on there. The TV, let's see, is that fine? That's good enough, but this, we lose a lot of detail here, so let's go medium quality. My choices are pretty much arbitrary. I'm just increasing them as I think they should be increased. It's just that, you know, as long as it looks good, you know it will be good enough. This needs to be medium as well. My computer is a bit slow, and we got a failed. So sometimes generation will fail. So you have to generate that again, if that happens. It depends on your computer specs. Sometimes it's just too much processing. I have a 5-year-old CPU, so it's not the latest specs. If you have something newer, this might be more stable. But even for my computer, it's good enough. I think this needs to be... There's actually two meshes here. There is the holders and the shelf itself. Let's increase them both to low. What is going on here? This is that's a door. You know, for a door, that's fine. You know, I think we are really getting to... I think this was the one that... No, there is something here. Yeah, I think the screen is a separate mesh. Is this correct? Let's look. Oh yeah, that makes sense. It's filled in because there is a lot of stuff there. You could increase this to high if you want, but I'm not gonna do that. Let's check this. Yeah, same thing here. The shelves are filled. That's why there's no collision there. But that's pretty much it. It's up to you how far you want to go. And with this method, you can get like a lot of work, like hours and hours of work done in less than 10 minutes. So let's move on to the next object, which is a bit more complicated this time. And again, we will just start with generating the single convex. And we can already see that some of these require higher quality. Let's just increase it. And try again. We need to move these. And there's a lot of objects. I think the best way to approach this is to delete these first. And let's move these parts. Okay, so now we can see the issue. So it's struggling with these two parts. So let's fix this one, since it's an easy fix. Same with this number. And I think there's another one here. And this middle part. Okay, now we're left with these. So let's start with the rings. So I think this will go up to medium quality. And for this, this is probably a good edge case. When things go into the middle like this, you need another approach. So what I recommend is you actually get the remesh modifier. You increase this, remove the, let's go for smooth, and let's go up to 9. I think we can stick to 8. No, we do need, no, I think 8 is good enough. And you'll see why. So let's hide everything else for now, so we can focus on this spoke. So if we try to generate them now, we get an issue. Let's actually not modify the origin. So let's make a copy of this. Let's remove this. And let's work on this copy. So let's apply this, and now we have an issue. Some of these are connected to each other, which is not good. So in this case, we will make a cylinder. We just move the cylinder in the middle. Let's hide this as well. Let's rotate the cylinder, put it in the middle. And we basically just want to make a boolean with this cylinder. So set it to float first, and then that's why it wasn't working. I misplaced it. So now it looks correct. All of these spokes are separated, so we can do this. We can separate by loose parts. And some of them will have a lot of these, so in this case just combine them. But it looks correct now. So now we just generate the colliders with single convex. And this is good enough. The middle railings are too dense anyway, so we don't care about the midsection. And now, just like with the soldier, we can select everything, select colliders, invert our selection, and delete it. So we just get the colliders. And now we'll get our wheel, do shift left click. And now we just have to set the cursor to our thing, move these here, and then we just parent. Or there's another way. You can just parent first, like that, and then you can Alt-G, Alt-R. Never mind, that didn't work. Oh, that's because it's, yeah, it's parented to a empty. So use this method instead. It's just way easier. Just set your cursor in the middle and move your colliders to the cursor, and then you want to parent. But you want to parent with keep inverse, because in this case we have a lot of empties, which cause an issue. And that's pretty much it. Now if we move this back to the middle, we get a nice mesh. So let's fix this one. So even with, I'll show you, you only need to split your mesh. So in this case, it's pretty easy. You can just do merge by distance first to put them together, and then you do separate by loose parts. You get all these rings, and now you can use a lower quality preset. And we can increase the quality for the outer rings. The inner rings are fine, but the outer rings are... And if we want to get even better quality, we can actually untick this one. This will get us a lot more collision pieces. And if that doesn't work, you can also increase the hull amount. And that's the way to do it. Oh, we need to set the... let's set everything to medium. I think that will get the most accurate collision here. This is still not enough. Let's go. So if the collisions aren't obeying your rules, you can decrease the threshold, which gives you way tighter hulls. And now it's starting to look good. We can do the same for these two. Perfect. And in this case, we didn't modify the mesh, so we don't need to do the thing we did with the other stuff. So we can just combine this. Actually, let's select the colliders. We'll hide them. We'll combine these. And now we'll bring everything back. Let's do Alt-H. And some of these colliders aren't parented anymore, so you still have to do the parent. So just ensure your mesh is selected as active, and then you do parent. And now if you move this, they stick with the main mesh. And that's pretty much it. We remove this visualizer. We can see that it's a very nice looking carousel. So with vehicles, the only thing you really have to keep track of is the interior. You have to have interior faces in your car. Like you shouldn't have this kind of situation where the inside is just missing. It might work, but don't count on it. Other than that, you might want to mirror the wheels. Like so. Just choose the right axis. Yeah, you might want to mirror the wheels so that the left and right side are equal, but other than that, there is nothing special about this. The other videos really go through specifics on this one. For spaceships, as long as they don't have any interiors, it's trivial. You just set a preset and you just hit generate. Very simple. For buildings, you have to separate it to a lot of different pieces. Ideally, you would separate one floor into its own thing, and if you have any windows or any doorways, you have to separate the top and the bottom parts like this.